Stuff channel with the things and the swings.
My name's Becca, and you're watching the Stuff Channel.
Nailed this shape.
I did it.
Lizzie McGuire obviously just drew a dick everyone.
Yeah. And she's coming back still, so.
Oh, yeah.
Anyways, we're going to talk about Eberron and some characters that we're making because we're changing it up to something easier, which is mostly just improving.
Mm-hmm.
Screw stories.
Hey. Hey.
Make up your own.
Yeah.
Screw stories, also known as
Sex stories.
sex stories, yeah. Anyways, so how we're going to kind of start off this session 0 is, I know everyone kind of has their own character idea already started, whether that's both race, class, and a little bit of background information, or more of a idea of how that character thinks and feels about certain aspects of life, society, their religion.
I still don't know some of those things about myself.
Yeah, welcome to exploring that space with Ryan.
Exploring the space with Ryan, a D&D adventure.
On the Stuff Channel. Can you pass me another piece of meat, please?
Meat.
Oh my god, that was almost bad.
You got it though.
There's a book and an iPad under that.
And a person.
Yeah, he's not as valuable.
Yeah. I can always wash my skin off. It's hard to wash off a book.
I try all the time.
Not dishwasher safe. They don't teach you that in school, which is ironically where I learned that hard lesson.
I heard that if you have an old book and it's like really tarnished, an option that you have is a very, very, very fine sandpaper to like get the old, like the tarnish off.
Is this on the cover or the pages?
Cover. Don't be on the pages.
I got that tarnish off. Also the words.
And the page itself is just gone.
Magic vanish paper.
Invisible ink. It just took a really long time.
This is the new eraser. I reinvented erasers.
It comes in sheets now.
But yeah, so we're going to start exploring kind of those topics and about how all of your characters may know each other. So we're going to start off by just kind of...
I just noticed the Anne camera is like
I've noticed. I would have to go like this to be.
It's like a drumstick.
I have a couple 120-degree angle cameras on their way in. So
Ooh.
only need 2 cameras, so it'll be this half of the table. And
What if I just stayed here the whole session?
Oh, this one's...
out of the frame.
Mm-hmm.
just make like
fuck you.
a sock puppet.
This is good. This is good.
It's like you're in a forest.
Anne's character is from Drumstick Forest.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, that's enough. Oh, this is stuffed crust, man. I
Yeah.
just noticed that.
So who wants to begin? Does someone have a desire?
4.
Talking about their character idea.
How broad stroke in depth would you like us to go?
So you'll start off just by saying like, this is, you don't have to say your class if you don't want to, that's okay. Race will be something that's kind of obvious. You can talk about if you have any idea of like where you're from or something that's very easily known about you.
Sure.
So, like if you are dragon marked, likely everyone knows that because some part of it is most likely showing. Or that comes up at some point. Like I said, race is a pretty big one. Or if there's just, in general, something about your personality that, like, automatically stands out. Or something about your history that you definitely want concrete in the storyline.
Sure. Roll for it.
No.
I didn't get my dice out, bro.
Here, you can borrow my Kraken die. It's totally reliable.
I'm also using a
I'm
Kraken
11.
die.
15.
10!
Sucks to be you.
Or John, I don't know.
I guess we didn't discuss.
We didn't
Yeah,
decide
we didn't.
I assumed it would be low.
Yeah, same.
Okay, I can go first. I guess. My iPad fell asleep though. Now we're back. Okay. I am playing a big boy, a Warforged. His name is technically PRE Unit 5. So, and it stands for, hang on, I wrote it down. PRE stands for Protection, Rescue, Extraction. And then it would be Unit number 5. It's like a special, I says, PRE units were designed as specialized rescue evac units that could also act as extremely powerful but not subtle bodyguards. The boy is like 8 feet tall, and he weighs 450 pounds. He has a lot of just bulk, and it's mostly used to protect. So,
What
like,
is he made out of?
Well, wood and metal,
Wood and metal. Okay.
which are what Warforged are made out of. But yes, so he is big and bulky as to protect his charges. Some things that I wrote down, I said, Warforged weren't assigned genders when first created, but after achieving sentience, some have adopted pronouns, and my boy likes he, him pronouns. He hates battle and loud noises and explosions. Probably some PTSD. He, in his experience in war, has taught him that the world can be really cruel and awful, and he has come to be very wary and expect the worst from most, like, sentient beings, especially organic ones, not other
Are you
Warforged.
saying sentient or sentiment?
Sentient?
Sentient. Okay.
Sentient.
Yep. And he loves animals and plants, and if it were up to him, he'd wander off into the woods and be done with it. I have been calling him in my brain, if you look at all of the letters and the number. It looks a bit like pre and then us. So I've been calling him Prius.
That car.
Mm-hmm. Also, part of it that I'm going to really try to do is that he has a limited vocab. So I'll just read what I wrote because that's easier. As a PRE unit, he was only pre-equipped with several standard phrases in common in order to communicate with superiors as well as people being rescued or protected. He is beginning to learn to take bits from his pre-programmed sentences and rearrange them into other sentences, as well as slowly expanding his vocab. But he's still not too comfortable speaking beyond set phrases because he's worried he'll say something wrong. So, those are all of my very important notes. I also have some ideas for what he looks like, but I wasn't sure. I didn't want to make any solid decisions until we knew like what sort of equipment we would have and stuff. But he's big and rounded, and the seams there's no like jagged seams. Like, he's built to be, nobody could really get a grip on him if they're like trying to stop him, sort of thing.
Slippery.
Yes, but also like very large and thick.
An Atlas stone with
Slippery,
arms and legs.
large, and thick.
Yeah, and like and so and like I don't want to say Baymax because Baymax is like way more cushy than I'm imagining and like specifically designed for healing, but he still is like the rounded edges and like a recognizable face and stuff, so that like when he is rescuing people, it's like it puts them enough at ease that they'll be like, okay, I'll go with you,
Sure.
rather than this giant terrifying like monster
Angry
ball
metal
robot, like Droideka from Star Wars rolls up and is like, I'm saving you, and you're like, fuck no, I'm gonna die right here. So,
All right. Something that you'll have to kind of decide as a design as well is all Warforged have a symbol on their forehead that they are just created with. It is not something that is determined by the creators of the Warforged, House Cannith. It is just something that happens. So in Eberron, they're essentially the technologies somewhat that we have today are viable not through these technological advances, but through low level magic that just exists throughout the world. So that means for someone like a Warforged, when you were created by House Cannith, the dragon marked group for that, even though they're creating you and they're creating these Warforged, it just means that there's still this added magic that they don't quite understand. So in your creation, all of you essentially have a fingerprint marked on your forehead in some way.
okay.
So even though you and your other PRE Unit 5s are...
Oh, 5 was his designation.
Okay, so all the other
It's PRE and then unit.
Okay, so all the other PREs, they are identical to you, most likely, besides just this mark that would be able to differentiate all of you.
Is there any, like, limitation? Like, is it an organic looking mark? Like...
I don't think so.
Okay.
That's kind of up to us, however we decide that we want those marks to
So
look.
there's a sample one on the cover there. It's just kind of like a weird runic
Yeah.
thing.
Cool.
Yeah. So that's good. Second up was...
I think it was me, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So I'm playing Kath, who is a half orc, and she does have a dragon mark. She is from the Shadow Marshes, so that's like way out there on the coast. And I couldn't really figure out, like, all the way over there.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, we have a map!
Yeah.
Wow!
Yeah. I couldn't figure out what the like allegiance of the Shadow Marshes was during the last war.
They didn't really have
They
one.
didn't really have one, which is why I thought that she was probably a merc. Like that makes the most sense for how she would have gotten involved in that, and that House. What is the name? It's like Thrashka or something.
Oh yeah, Thrashka, your house.
Yeah, that they would have been sending their agents to the war to basically earn for them. That makes the most sense. So she has, she's a ranger, which I know I don't have to say, but I think it's relevant because rangers have a favorite enemy. And I did have her favorite enemy down as constructs because I thought that would be interesting, and I thought it would make a lot of sense, considering the like technological advances in this world and how big a role they played in the last war. And that's pretty much what I know about her right now.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
So, something to consider about your dragon mark then is, well, we already kind of know what it looks like.
Yeah, but where is it?
But where is it?
Yeah.
It still has to be somewhere that is most of the time visible. So, think about that and
Sure.
kind of where you'd
Maybe
want
my
it.
instinct is to say on her neck, because that would be kind of crazy and cool.
Or it can even be large enough that it is like on the back of her shoulder, but you can
and
still
then,
see
like, it
part
comes
of it.
up, it's emerging, yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
So anything like that, just
Sure.
for aesthetic purposes. And then John.
I am playing a human, an artificer. His name is Eowyn Irigad Torque. He is from the Zilargo region in the central southern portion of the continent, which is a primarily gnomish region. And the Zil are a people who are very kind of troublesome. So he has a bit of that in his everyday tasks. The culture there is very addicted to the idea of being secretive, even though it's not necessary for everyday interactions. So they are constantly doing unnecessary cloak and dagger actions to go pick up bagels or something.
Me.
Yeah, you got the stuff.
Where are you going?
He
The crow caws at midnight.
Joe, there you go. Here's your. For the most part, Zilargo was not involved in the conflict directly with soldiers and such. However, they did have some agents sent out into the field to provide resources during the war. And Eowyn himself was out basically as an apprentice when he was a little younger to help do repairs on the war machines and warforged that would have come in damaged during the fights. So sort of like a MASH, but for constructs back at a base far away from combat. He comes from a fairly wealthy family and is a fancy lad.
Wow.
Yes. He and he hails from Corenburg, Ryan. I don't know if I told you that, which is the home of the libraries and cipher holds in Zilargo.
Every time that word is going to be said, I'm going to think of Key Largo.
Zilargo.
Yeah.
Antigua. Is there
I mean,
someplace close called?
I keep saying Kathmandu when I say Kath, so it's fine.
That's about what I have at the moment.
Sweet.
Fancy
deal.
boy. My boy is a squalid boy. Big robot. Don't need anything.
Yep.
Alright. Sweet deal. Just need to take a few notes here.
Oh, I guess also because I'm playing a variant human, I have the prodigy feat off the bat.
Fancy smart boy.
Yeah, he's
Ah!
I'm playing a high intelligence character for the first time
Oh
ever.
God, you have to be smart.
You have
I
to
know.
be smart. My intelligence and charisma are really low for this character, which is also a first.
I have low wisdom though, so I feel like I can I can make that work.
Great.
My strength and con are a lot.
Perfect.
Yeah.
My dex is not.
My dex is a lot.
Yeah, you're a ranger.
Yeah.
My dex is -1, so.
You're a big boy.
Uh-huh.
That's my strength and intelligence. Or sorry, I'm so used to saying intelligence. Strength and wisdom.
My intelligence. Oh, -3. Yes, yes.
That's just every other character that I've ever played.
Alright. So now we've kind of got this rough idea of who each of our characters are, with a little bit of background. It kind of seems like everyone here was in some way involved in the last war. The last war was a century-long war that it's more similar to a Cold War. If you think of it that way, there are times of fighting, there was times of peace, and then there was back to being fighting. a lot of people profited from this war. There were a lot of advancements made in the everyday magics of the world during this century. It all came. The war itself came to an end. What was that? 4 years ago, and it's been 2 years. I'm trying to think. So
Wait.
it ended. Hold on. So 4 years ago, the mourning happened.
Okay.
And then 2 years ago, a treaty was signed, and the wars is currently on hold for whatever that means. The day of mourning is when the Mournland appeared. An entire country was wiped off the continent. No one knows why. That's something that we could explore if we want. But essentially, it's just this huge area of gray, like fog that's there. Some people can see like faces like coming in and out of it. It is a place that's not very traveled, just due to the large amount of danger that's there. But since that point, like I said, the war has kind of been pretty much done. There's still a lot of hesitation from people interacting with others, just because it's like the war's only been over 2 years. My side hated your side, but it's very World War II in that way of just being like your neighbor's very close by, and you used to hate them or your country hated them, but you may have been indifferent. So it's all up to you. So I guess my question to start off with then is, how do each of your characters feel about the war and the part that you played in it?
Awen never really got his hands dirty, or for the most part, barring some of the very northernmost parts of where he's from, even saw like any physical battle at all. So it's sort of a faceless enemy that's now a faceless neutral. So he's not...
How old is he now?
Right now he's going to probably be in his late 20s.
Aww.
Yeah, so...
Very relatable.
Yeah. I think I have him down as like 28 or 29.
Extremely relatable. For me personally.
28.
Would it work better for me to have been built before or after the morning situation?
Story-wise, it depends on how y'all want to know each other. If you want to have a situation in which you served in combat or knew each other in some other way, from that you'd want them to be older. You could have them still be a newer, fresh model who didn't really serve much. Like, you never really got sent out and you never really served your wartime purpose.
The boy definitely did some battles, but I feel like he was so bad at it that he was constantly being pulled back for maintenance, probably. So, like, some war experience, but not a lot.
That'd
Like,
probably be-
combat experience.
Sure. That'd be a decent way for our characters to know each other then.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah, I was waiting for you to be done writing.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No.
Would it be more sense than like maybe 5-6 years old?
Yeah, that's totally reasonable. Some Warforge are, I think the oldest Warforge is only like
20, I think, is what it said.
Yeah, like 20 or 40, not that old.
Okay, he'll be 5.6 years old. I don't know,
That
5 and
matters.
a half.
That matters at that age.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
I'm
Yeah.
5 3/4. No, he'll be 5 and a half.
So I think that half orcs age, like they come of age faster than ordinary humans, and she I think was like in her mid-teens when she like was sent off to do shit in the war. So I don't know that she's known much other than that life. I think that when it was over, she probably felt pretty lost and purposeless, I would say, because like so much of her identity was built up around going and doing this thing in service of her family, and she was really good at it, and now she's like, I guess, like 19, and
Good at being a soldier.
good at being a soldier and doesn't really know how else to be. And I don't think she was ever actually like battlefield, more like Black Ops kinds of like behind the scenes,
Shock
sneaking
trooper things.
into.
Black Watch.
I'm gonna ignore that.
Fair.
Like sneaking into enemy camps and planting charges and like taking out targets from a distance, that kind of thing.
So were you more focused on kind of an assassinary role, or were you sometimes requested to do just recon and just gain information? Was there a more specialty that you went for?
I think more like sabotage and assassination was the thing.
Sabotage and or than.
And assassination, depending on what the mission was, you know. Because it could be go in and kill somebody in their sleep, but it could also be go in and destroy 20 war machines before they wake up, you know. That kind of thing. I don't think so much like spying.
Okay.
I think a little bit more. There's more blood on her hands than that, I would say.
And then my follow-up question then would be, when did your dragon mark manifest in all of this? Was it something that you were born with, or that you got from a very young age? Usually it's stress of some kind that brings out
Yeah.
someone's dragon mark.
I mean, it would make sense for it to have happened then while she was first, you know, being put to task, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
First assigned.
Okay. That is something that's fairly common among
Yeah,
the houses, is
right.
some rite of passage. So that works. Okay. So now that we all kind of know how each of you were involved in the war, did any of you know each other from the war?
So the two of them logically would.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Were there like Warforged on both sides?
Yeah.
Yeah.
War-
So like,
Warforged were sold to the highest bidder.
right, sure. So I guess it's not like inconceivable that like Kath could have been in and around. She's looking at your dice, really puzzled.
Did you color in some of the numbers?
Yep.
Okay.
Only some.
Yeah.
Only 6s and 9s.
Nice.
Perfect.
Would have been smart.
So I guess it's possible for
Okay.
sure.
For a plain yellow pumpkin to become a golden carriage?
No, that's not possible.
Not without magic!
Cinderella is D&D confirmed?
No, it's Cinderfella. He's like a really buff guy who dresses.
Oh, I love him.
So, off that train, so with the with your house then, it's not even during the war, you didn't necessarily have an allegiance.
Right. Yeah.
So there may have been a good chance that you were contracted out to a country then.
Right.
Since,
Yes, that's what I figured.
Yeah. So do we want to go ahead and say that you were contracted primarily in Zalargo or
Sure.
somewhere around
I'm
that
down.
area?
Most of our resources went to Breland.
Yes. Breland is...
Greenland, which looks like Ireland from afar.
It does.
Yeah, and then it would make sense because that's relatively adjacent
Between
to
the
the
two of
Shadow
ours,
Marshes.
yeah.
Yeah. Sweet deal. So we'll say, so do we want it to be Breland or Zalargo then? That
Where's the Largo?
South of it.
you all
south
were
of it,
located
okay.
in.
Here specifically.
Zalargo is a bit more of, as John had mentioned, gnomish and
Yeah.
kind of they have their oddities. Breland's a more traditional area. It does have the largest city in all of Corvair in it. It's at the end of that river at the hilt, that Dagger River. Left, down.
Down left.
Down
side,
left.
dagger.
There you go.
Keep going, follow the,
The
river,
Dagger
the
River?
Dagger to the hilt.
What's it called?
Sharn.
Oh, that's Sharn. Okay.
Yeah.
A port city.
Yeah.
That
it's-
makes sense.
It's massive.
Mhm.
There's a whole section on Sharn. I don't think that's a place that I want to start, but it is happily a place that we can end up.
Sure.
Sure.
Just because it is essentially like New York City.
Yeah.
It's just massive.
Or Shanghai.
Or Shanghai.
Yeah.
Or a port city. Sweet deal. So, you guys have a preference in terms of Zalargo, Montego, Breland?
Maybe why don't we go down to Coco?
I guess as far as like where we met, Breland would make sense.
Mhm.
As far as where we wound up after the war.
Yeah, because this could be your first time seeing each other since the war,
Mhm.
or it could just be the fact that the war ended, you all had a job together, and not knowing what to do next, you all just kind of kept working together.
Sure.
Mhm. Does anybody have a preference there?
I mean,
don't really.
I'm down for Zalargo as far as that goes, because it's the one I read the most about.
Mhm.
I only read about Warforged.
Yeah,
I
that's
mean, I feel like it would not. I probably would have had to go home at some point
yeah.
because I am a house agent and like,
Gotta go check in with the fam.
yeah,
Yeah. Luckily, with your house, they can find you whenever they want.
right.
So,
Jeez, they're coming right now.
yeah.
Yeah, the heat.
The Hater Brigade.
Sweet. So, this has answered a few of my questions.
Good. I'm still sitting directly behind that drumstick. And that's how I like it.
Yeah. it's a good
I've been trying not to move too much.
Okay. So, now that the war is over, and you're not necessarily conscripted in some way, how are you all making your livings?
Doing the same thing I was doing before, probably. But with a lot less killing, I hope that. Assume. I don't know.
That's up to you.
Yeah.
Assassins are still needed in the
Assassins
world.
are still needed. This is true.
But you tend to have to be a lot more careful than you were during the
right,
war.
and I don't know that. I'm sure that I think they're probably like rogue types who are more capable than her at that particular, like uber stealth, non-martial assassination. I think maybe like accompanying trading vessels and that kind of
Boats.
boring work that she would probably hate. But it's what they've told her to do, so she's doing it. She's very good at taking orders. Boats.
Boats.
But also like wagon trains.
Land boats.
Land boats.
Have you ever been on an airship?
No, yes. I thought you were asking me.
No.
I've never been on a Zeppelin.
Has Kath ever been on an airship? For work or pleasure?
Probably, yeah. I think that would make sense.
Okay.
I wish I had been.
Yeah.
So
Personally.
Yeah. I think she's quite well traveled. Even though she's still pretty young.
Okay. Just so you know, traveling can be extremely expensive in Eberron. Some of the costs of air travel, I think, is like 5 gold a mile or something like that.
Yikes.
Yeah, exactly. Like it is.
Is it because there aren't that many airships, or because they can?
Because they can charge that much.
Yeah, right. Because the
They
convenience of air travel.
the convenience of air travel, and it's also
Capitalism.
exactly. It's one of the houses that one of the dragon marked houses that has control over that, and they've created specific items that only members of their house with dragon marks can actually operate these ships.
Right.
So they can then charge whatever they feel is appropriate, as long as people.
I
still
mean,
pay.
I assume that most of the houses are pretty well off because they all
They
have
are.
yeah, okay. So that
A lot of war profiteering.
yeah. I think mine is like mining.
Yeah, that's more
Yeah.
so what that your group has gone on to do is mining, because you're able to find objects.
Right, yeah.
So you hunt down what are called dragon shards, which I'm still learning more about.
Sounds very JRPG.
Yeah.
They're really cool.
Yeah.
I read about them because on one of the tables they had like a thing for it, and I was like, "What the hell's that?"
Yep. They're like an energy source.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Atlantis crystals.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, they're believed to be from. There's some lore that there are 3 dragons that caused the creation of the world of Eberron, and so these dragon shards are considered parts of them.
Are there other continents?
There are other continents besides just Corvair, but
But they weren't like directly involved in a war or anything.
not really. They're not as populous or anything, so it's
Jesus. Sorry, I just saw a
You
city
just
layout of
saw the
Shard.
city?
yeah, Shard's massive.
Oh,
Shard is
when you
ridiculous.
first got that book, I looked at that city diagram and I turned to Kelly and I was like, "This is happening in some campaign we're going to begin." Like,
Hasn't seen it until
Love
now.
a city diagram.
Holy hell.
yeah, it's like 5 levels.
That's the best.
Yeah, here you go. Distant islands and such.
That looks so close to Arsenal.
It does. They always try to walk it in.
Mm-hmm.
As far as keeping myself from starving, I've mainly been just getting any kind of work with my tools that I'm able to, because I have a fair few proficiencies with alchemy, smithing, and tinker tools. So just sort of keeping myself where I was last left, and sort of waiting to hear from the trust.
Sorry, I don't look up how to spell your name. boy Prius.
What up? Oh, what am I doing?
What are you doing for income or for work?
I don't work or have income. If there was a term like there are, it would be wretched. I just wander around. Honestly, I don't want a job, nor just
What are your needs?
I have to
much.
stop and rest every once in a while.
Yeah, Warforged. And even then, they still see and hear everything that's going on.
They just don't move.
Yeah. Wow. Creepy.
So I feel like, we kind of just wandered off. Like, I don't know when exactly. Is it like, when did Warforged like develop consciousness?
When you were created is
Yes.
when you had your consciousness. You had it immediately when you came out of the creation forges.
Okay.
The sentient Warforged, like they had said, had been being created for somewhere between like 20 and 40 years, somewhere in there.
Perfect. Yeah. I feel like then it was probably just like PTSD sort of situation where after the war he was kind of like, I don't want to be around any of this, and kind of wandered off.
Okay.
And has just been hanging out with plants and animals.
So
As far as geological location for near Zalargo / Shadow Marches / forest,
rocks.
Ringbriar seems to be a decent location as far as that goes. In Breland,
Mm-hmm.
it's sort of a central between
Yeah.
all three of the areas. Oh yeah, right there.
Yeah. Forest.
Yeah.
What is it called? The Forgotten Wood?
There's the
Towering Wood.
There's Skyrim.
Yeah.
Are they sequoia trees?
No, because this is D&D.
Or redwood trees?
They're like dragon pines or something.
Yeah, but do they look like...
Big ding dongs, you betcha.
Ah, the Wiener Grove.
Yes!
The dongs of Eberron.
That's what they call them.
Sweet deal. Cool thing about Eberron, or not Eberron, cool thing about the Warforged that I learned recently is that they do have a sense of taste. For whatever reason, when they were created, they had a sense of taste.
Hell yeah.
Nice.
Though you do not need to eat.
No.
So you could just put things in your mouth and chew them and let them fall out.
Yum.
I wish I could do that.
You eat like Cookie Monster.
Yes.
All right. So, what were some of my other questions? So who is, and this is going to be kind of a collaborative NPC creation, who is someone that you all knew from the war?
Some
Could-
kind of
So it could have been like commander,
yeah,
it could
that
have
would be my
been,
thinking.
Like,
could just
camp.
been the cook, or
Cook or nurse or something.
yeah. Some kind of higher ranking official that was always back at like the home base,
Right.
or was there often enough anyways.
Mm-hmm. That would make sense. Or someone very low ranking that we all might have had contact with.
yeah, like George, the shoe polisher, the
Yeah.
boot polisher.
George, the latrine man. The latrine man.
I'm
Becker,
Spot
are you
George.
okay? You look like you want to say something really
Just
bad.
wants to know what it means.
Treasure planet.
No, it's not.
No.
No.
What's Treasure Planet?
There's no music playing.
What's Treasure Planet?
Way out there in the stars.
It's
a whole
Eberron in
moon made of
space.
gold.
Sure.
So, this commander that you had, or are you going to do low ranking, I guess?
Personally, I think low ranking is a little more interesting, but
We probably get more face-to-face time with a
Yeah.
low-ranking person.
yeah.
Okay. So, what?
Unless like we're all being suffered back to our military.
You three again.
Yeah.
Why is it always you three?
So, what did this low ranking individual do within your military company?
I can't get latrine right out of my head. It's
I would
good.
not need that.
You wouldn't, but that doesn't mean you wouldn't see like the latrine men around.
Just
Maybe.
say janitor.
Maybe you needed compost for your
Yeah.
plants.
Yeah.
I definitely didn't have plans while I was working in the army.
I like the idea of a cook or like somebody who did like I guess what would you call that? Like somebody who armed a like a quartermaster, that's what I was looking for.
I was
In
actually
charge of
thinking
shit.
Yes.
somebody who a lot of information flowed through, so like they had to be in every department, like delegating tasks and stuff.
Yeah.
Like a first mate
Yeah.
or prime minister, but
Yeah.
of an army camp.
Well, now we're back to commander though.
No,
That's what that sounds like.
No, because the commander doesn't do all the small shit. It's their.
Prime minister doesn't either. What?
Well, it depends on. Never mind.
The country.
Yeah.
So quartermaster.
I
Question.
like quartermaster,
Or like a-
but only
like
because it took me 3
clerk.
minutes to remember what it was.
Like a clerk or something like that.
Yeah, clerk also.
So like someone who checked in and out of supplies. So like if you
Yeah.
needed to go get bandages or tools
Right.
or
Information.
information, you'd
Yeah.
go to this.
So maybe just the quartermaster's office
Yeah.
of people.
The most middle of middlemen.
Okay, the front desk worker at the
Quartermaster's clerk.
quartermaster's clerk.
That's perfect. The eighth master.
Mm-hmm.
I want them to be a gnome.
That works
Yeah.
for me.
Mega requests that they're a gnome.
That's totally cool.
Them's my folks.
I just feel like that makes sense. Like it'd be somebody really good at detail and keeping track of lists of things and how things work. Also, a gnome with my giant 8-foot tall warforged is a very good mental image.
So one of the other questions then is pronouns.
He, him, for me.
No, I meant for
Oh,
this
for
character.
For me!
You have
the
already
character.
expressed your pronouns
Yeah.
through your own speaking of your characters.
No.
Gnome. Is the
I was
pronoun.
just saying gnome.
No.
1, 2, he, him. 3, 4, they, them. 5, 6.
Yeah,
she,
The
her.
third one.
The third one.
One. Dude.
Dude.
Dude, bro.
Sir.
Dirt bro, sir. Sir Dude Bro is his name. Hello, it is
It's
me.
actually pronounced Dudbra.
Deborah.
He's no Irish.
Sir Deborah.
Stupid.
So yeah,
This keeps getting more and more like MASH. Like you said MASH and
Yeah.
I just...
Yeah.
but this is all just background
it.
stuff.
This is a
Yeah.
Laura Maida.
Oh God.
So, how was all of yours relationships with Sir Deborah, whatever their name is going to be?
No, I like Sir Deborah.
I love Sir Deborah, honestly. I won't lie to you
Sir,
guys.
Sir is a family name.
SUHR. I'm someone who complained constantly about my conditions to work in. So, like, clearly not meant to be out in the field. Not a tough person in any capacity. So I feel like they were sort of a, like, pat me on the shoulder, hey, grin and bear it, buddy, you'll be all right kind of person.
I'm just imagining you walking up and complaining and them being like, this fucker again, oh my
Yeah.
god.
It's like, hey,
He's
that's,
got more words for me.
that's war.
Yep,
You got it pretty
That's
rough
some
here
war,
at base
eh?
camp.
yeah. From your rich family.
Yep.
I think that Sir Deborah probably remembers Kath as being a very overeager young woman in the ways that you don't want people to be overeager, like about doing military shit.
Being like, we're gonna go kill some
Dudes,
dudes!
give me the next one. Let me getting out there. Having a great time.
I brought the molars of the guy I last killed.
You want to see them?
What's that? Me hearing that sentence and fainting 10 feet away?
Did she say molars?
Oh!
Now they're the back teeth.
Gotta get in there.
Yeah.
This ain't no fucking canine.
They bite down pretty hard, but you just have to knock them out after.
It's proof that he's really dead, or else I'd never get up in there.
Yeah.
He didn't bite me.
All right, so that's Kath, overeager about war, showing.
She's
Aw.
young and naive.
Two. Sir. Okay. Prius.
Excuse me, Prius?
I've
Is
got
there a
opinion-
Prius in the house?
I've got opinions about your dragon mark now.
Do I have one?
No.
I haven't.
Or not your dragon
My
mark, your
forehead mark?
Warforged mark.
What is it? The Toyota symbol?
Yep.
Oh my god! Yes!
But like cool and jagged.
Okay.
It's just ancient.
That's just how I
symbol.
can
This
picture it.
ancient rune.
On my forehead. Beep beep. Go.
You move silently as long as you go straight under 1 mile an hour.
You're going less than 5 miles per hour.
When I start up, it makes no noise.
It's fantastic.
Bluetooth connected.
God. Also, my beep sounds like beep. Beep beep. So I assume that, like, Prius is probably around camp a lot because he's not really good at war, and so he keeps, getting sent back for, like, repairs and shit, and he feels bad about that, so he, like, probably volunteers to do a bunch of chores and run a bunch of errands in the meantime while he's back at camp because he doesn't need to sleep or eat or rest, but he still wants to kind of show that he's, like, worth keeping around even though he hates fighting. And so, like, the quartermaster's office would just know him because he would show up, because he's supposed to grab, like, 20 cases of something or whatever.
He carries heavy things.
He is.
He is?
He is a heavy thing.
He is a heavy thing and he carries it.
Uh-huh.
He carries
So, like,
himself.
I don't know, like, quiet. He doesn't like talking, like I said. And, not eager to help, but, like, feels obligated like he should be. Especially
Well, it's
'cause-
literally his purpose. Like, I mean, I'm sure he's been told,
Mhm.
It's a hard,
Mhm. And if he's not out there saving people, he's like,
literally his reason for existing.
mhm.
Sweet. That brings me up to another good question about your Warforge. Have you ever met another PRE model?
Probably.
Okay. Is it a fairly common make?
I would say,
Would there have been another in your regiment?
maybe. I feel like probably, at least like 2 or 3 get assigned to each. I don't know what are military terms.
Unit.
Yeah, I guess. They're like probably would be assigned to guard important generals if they're on the battlefield, or kept around in case of emergency situations, and kept around in case like a visiting dignitary needs like visible protection, stuff like that. So like but also Prius doesn't feel any particular attachment to other PRE units, especially because he's bad at doing his job.
Okay.
Oh my god, he's jealous.
No, he feels bad.
Guilt.
Yes.
Catholic robots.
This Catholic ass robot.
But bad at being Catholic?
Last Catholic robot!
Sounds like a classic Catholic robot. Programmed to be Catholic. Bad at it. Feels bad about it. I should pray more. Ugh.
I'm the worst.
They don't actually believe in the transubstantiation. They just think it's a symbol.
Mm-hmm.
And they just won't stop talking about it.
Also, the term transubstantiation.
So, speaking of religions, now that we're on to that point, for each of you, I'll just write it down as a later question, actually. Religion. Because I want to finish up on Sir Deborah.
Hell yeah.
So,
don't we all want to finish up?
When was the last time that you all like interacted with Sir Deborah? Was it when the war was being finally called off, or?
I would think it was when we were, well, for me, when I was being decommissioned. I'm like, because you hand over your shit.
To get your decommission and debriefing paperwork and all that jazz.
I think for me, I stayed around until the camp itself was like literally like dismantled. Still just trying to like do things around camp, and finally he kind of had to be like, yo,
It's time to go home, oh boy.
you gotta go somewhere.
Can't stay here.
Mm-hmm.
Here's an interesting idea, and you don't have to do it. But I was thinking, what if the place in nature that you hang out and spend time is actually the camp?
That sounds great.
You like never left. You just ended up staying there. Like you do go and you travel, but you come back because you can.
And it's not used anymore, so like.
Yeah, it's just kind of
big open patch in the woods.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there might be some like at some points when like you and your company were possibly attacked at your current standing location. There may be like, charred earth that still doesn't ever grow plants in that area.
Mm-hmm.
And is it Ewan?
Eowyn.
I could keep. I don't know.
E-I-O-N.
E-I-O-N. Let's just throw some vowels.
I am no man.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. Except he
is
a man?
I am a man. Father.
Yeah.
I've been hardened by war.
One time I saw molars.
I heard someone talk about moles.
One of my regular people that I rub elbows with rips the teeth out of people's heads.
What was the last experience you had with Sir Deborah?
It probably would have been just the general decommission with everyone, and then I would have, if they had gone like to the nearest town or whatever from camp, I probably would have been in that contingent for a while, and I just sort of like parked it at the first town we hit and waited for everyone to disperse and kind of wait for my next big life decision.
Oh wow. Truly a late 20s move.
Yep.
The big late 20s mood.
There's
I'm
gotta be
gonna
a
get an
sign.
apartment above a tavern.
There's gonna be a sign coming eventually about what I should do.
Which
Yeah.
is fun because religiously I'm very like, whatever.
But you're like, the universe will give me a sign.
Yes.
Sweet. So yeah, so then from a religious aspect, so in Eberron, it's not like the rest of D&D where the gods actually intervene or anything. It's much more similar to our world where it's just people with different beliefs about creation or how certain aspects of the world work, because so much of it is still unknown. Where do dragon marks come from? Why do only certain races have certain dragon marks? Why are there like shifters and changelings in this world? Where does magic come from?
Where did it go?
Yeah,
Where did it come from?
Warrior Forge, do they have a soul?
So what's a soul?
So all of you, though you probably didn't experience too terribly often, you may see someone now and again. There's a country called Karnath. They essentially had armies of the undead during the war, and they still have like the undead is a very common practice in their community. They see it simply as a tool, because otherwise a dead body is useless. Why not actually have it serve a purpose? So there's various beliefs. Sorry, it's playing some banjo. It's a banjo moment.
A banjo moment. Yeah, where's yours? Get
Over
out
there.
here.
Ding. So there are like a wide variety of things that you may like or dislike about the world. From a religious perspective, you can kind of pick and choose how you want to see the world. You can be non-religious as well. It's always an option. And a good example of how the world works is so there are clerics, of course, and some of them may think, oh, I get my power from the divine heavens, and it's my God gifting me with these strengths and these abilities. But there may be another person out there with cleric abilities who are just like, no, this is innately in me. Like, this is just the powers that I was born with. And so there's the discrepancies among that of like, is it still a God-given power that despite the person not saying that it is? So there's all of those questions to ask and be answered. So do you believe that your character is religious in some manner?
No.
Okay.
That's too authoritative.
No.
Not at all.
I think that they care. They're not spiritual in her family. I think that they care about money and mining and dragon shards and making more money. And that's like what she grew up with. And she probably thinks that to think of anything else is naive.
I just thought to myself, like, Sunday bookkeeping rather than Sunday church.
All right, everyone, get out your ledgers.
Yes. It'd probably be more like Sunday, like shooting at dice, but yeah, something like that, you know.
Sunday gambling
Sunday
day!
gambling day!
Oh, Mom.
Mom,
Meet me again!
you're cheating and I know it. I'm just too young to tell the difference.
You put on your cheating shirt so you can tuck cards up your sleeves, young man. Okay.
I'm sorry, but just so you know, for Sir Deborah, just because his name's Deborah, there's a good chance I'll just end up doing a Ray Romano type.
Yes! That's all I wanted, Ryan.
That's very good.
Excellent news.
I feel like
Eat that cold pizza.
Yeah. Woo, cool pizza.
Prius doesn't know enough about religion to have a religion if you wanted one. It's probably like no one just ever took the time to like talk to him about it. So
Makes sense.
I feel like he like believes that like life is sacred sort of thing. And, like, is really about protecting that, especially, like, the natural order of life and stuff. But he's not, like, sworn to a religion, mostly because he just doesn't know of them.
Yeah, sure.
Or, like, he might know of them, but doesn't know anything about them.
So that brings up an interesting question. What are your thoughts on humanoid life? You being a construct, you don't eat or
Yes.
need to sleep, or do you see them as fragile beings that need
kind of.
protecting, or
No, so like I said, I was thinking a lot about it, and he, like, based on all that he's seen and stuff, mostly humanoid life wound up, like, they were the cause of the war, and they were cause of all the destruction, as far as he can tell. Like, he was created, and all of the other warforged were created to play parts in the destruction that they had been causing all along, so he kind of really doesn't like humanoid life very much, and doesn't trust them at all. Like, he's been, it's like, things he's experienced have shown that saying one thing, you might not mean that thing, and it could be that they're lying. Like, you know, he probably has no reason to lie, ever. So, yeah, I said, he learned the world is cruel and awful, and he is very wary and expects the worst from most humanoids.
Fair enough.
Which is also, I feel like that's also part of the reason why he likes animals so much, is because they're not disingenuous. Like, they have simple needs and will act accordingly, and, like, if they choose to interact with him, he knows that it's a genuine interaction sort of thing.
very good.
I'm
gonna say again. You won.
Aowen.
AON. AON.
AON.
Hey.
AOL.
Him.
AOL.com.
Aowen online. Hi there.
Oh.
You've got mail.
God.
Where he's from is very open, pantheon-wise. Like, the cities themselves often just sort of have, like, a dedicated, like, temple, like, block, and no one's really, like, harsh one way or the other, and it's actually common practice for my people to, like, experiment with a few deities before officially choosing one. That's what it says in the book.
I love it.
So he's not
It's not a phase, Mom!
I'm really into the devil.
I'm an Episcopalian and you can't stop me.
I just really like what Martin Luther had to say.
I thought he hammered that thing to that door. That was dope. So he's not, like, affiliated with a religion per se. He acknowledges that they're out there, and he's probably seen, like, some manifestation of the actual power behind some of the faith figures, as there are probably clerics and such. But it's just not really something he's poured a lot of time and effort into.
Okay. Good. Trying to think if there's any other super important. Oh, yes, this is important.
Oh boy.
So, trying to think of a good way to put this. I want us to kind of come up with a bit of antagonist in some way for all of you. Obviously, it's great to have someone that you all enjoy and like.
Ray Romano.
Ray Romano. Everybody loves Raymond.
Everybody does love Raymond is the thing.
I can't believe that's come back in this room, in this space.
Deborah's evil brother.
My name's Raymond Sir
Robert
Deborah.
Barone.
God.
Hey, Raymond.
He is the antagonist of the whole thing. Yep.
Whoa.
But is there a person in mind who you think that your character would innately dislike, or something that someone may have done that you would have held a grudge against in some way?
For Eowyn, anyone who was like brazenly violent for the sake of violence, not a fan. So if there was some kind of soldier type who is always loudly bragging about how many people they killed,
How many molars they took out?
how many molars they ripped out of heads,
Yeah.
cannot abide it. The only time we should be talking about teeth is when they're on gears. Damn it.
Oh my God. A nerd.
A dweeb.
Yeah, just your typical alpha male jock type. Not a fan.
Oh, a nerd, truly.
Oh yeah, big time.
Okay.
So any kind of figure along those lines.
So if there was an asshole commander who abused his power
Yeah,
and was a dick to everyone.
yeah, your quintessential mean gym coach, but is in the military.
Probably has that Dorito body.
Oh yeah.
Sorry, I thought of someone who had the bodies after eating a lot of Doritos. And then I was like, I don't think that's what she meant.
Nope.
Commander Crunch is an asshole. All right, assholes.
I'm gonna ruin your audio quality.
He's a dick. He's always opening bags when he's giving out orders, and everyone gets really confused.
Did you hear what I said?
Sometimes he yells at you and he spits a bunch of half-chewed chips all over you.
Worst.
Truly an antagonist.
Didn't like it.
All right. What about for you other two? Is this someone that you would feel like you would also dislike?
I don't like anyone, apparently.
I think that she's I don't know. It's hard because she's a teenager. And I think that she is wants to do her job well. I don't think she takes criticism well.
So a person higher up
Who was you did bad.
that would be
Also,
You did murder poorly.
Yeah.
And I feel like you would also be interested in proving that you were better at it than him.
Right. And I think it probably goes back to she was raised to do this, and I think maybe has some issues with authority from that.
And perfectionism.
Being told by her uncle to go to a different country and murder people when she was 15. There's probably some underlying stuff there. I don't even know if she knows that there's stuff there.
Therapy.
But yeah, exactly. Typical child soldier stuff,
God.
It do be like that some days, though.
Yeah. So I think that she would have a complicated reaction to something like that, an older male figure telling her what to do or telling her she did poorly. And
same.
it would be there would be layers to it, but to her it would just be this guy pissed me off. Yeah. I don't know, that felt like a lot of words.
No, that's good. That's all very good.
He always managed to bring back more molars than you.
Yeah, or condescended me for being young and a woman. That kind of shit would also
young and inexperienced.
Yes.
Chauvinist pig, Ryan.
Yeah,
He's a
so just
chauvinistic
get us a
pig.
misogynist out here.
And probably
And an orc racist?
I was
Also.
going to say
Rubber
probably also
20
doesn't
teeth. Got it.
probably also doesn't like Warforged.
Mhm.
Or like treats them like they don't have a consciousness, sort of thing.
And he calls people pencil pushers for no reason.
He's just mean.
Also, he's got a crew cut. Who even has that haircut?
Yep.
Stupid.
He's the one person in all of Corvair with a crew cut. What an asshole.
Reverse crew cut.
Just
Like a really big tonsure.
Oh no!
No, it's just a clown.
Oh my god.
He's terrifying.
Clown that eats Doritos. This is the character.
Fantastic.
I hate that guy.
I don't know what it is, but I don't like them.
Just his clown makeup with Doritos.
Boy.
Send in the soldiers.
Oh my god, no.
But
I thought you were gonna start
crunch,
doing
crunch, crunch,
Santa
crunch,
Claus
crunch.
there for a second.
All right, sweet. So we've got kind of the idea of a type of antagonist that you may have been experiencing during your
Mayhaps.
war times.
Feels very relatable.
Becca's everyday life, guys.
What do you have a obviously? I think we got to went with him. Is
Yes.
that okay?
Yes, Sir Deborah.
No.
He's a great guy.
But him for the
Oh,
villain.
He has to be a
Is there a race in mind that you might have?
not orc.
Probably a high elf.
Elf.
Right?
Elf, a fucking elf.
Ryan, we'd like to go with elf. High elf. Preferably.
Up, yes. With a crew cut!
We've had this in our campaign before, and he had a mustache.
Oh yeah, Kelly's dad from the old campaign.
Oh my god.
Whoops.
It's okay. Things come full circle.
Listen, we have a type. It's fine.
I mean, now I'm just picturing what's his fucking face from the...
What's his fucking face? I love that guy.
Oh.
Dale Gribble.
Hank.
I'm done, it's fine.
I think I know what you mean.
The guy from Avatar?
Is it my cover photo?
No!
Oh, okay.
No! I was thinking, because I don't know Lord of the Rings well enough. The dad. The
Oh,
dad!
Elrond?
Denethor?
You're looking for
No!
Elrond.
Yes!
Oh, Elrond.
She's looking for Elrond.
Hubbard?
Yeah. That tracks, I guess. He does have some
Dickish
Some of that.
qualities.
Dick-
Hugo Weaving, but an elf with a mustache and a crew cut. Wait, did we say mustache?
I mean, we kind
You've
of did.
just added mustache in, but nobody's
A
complaining.
mustache clown with Dorito makeup.
That looks like Hugo Weaving.
Yes.
That looks like Hugo Weaving. Oof.
He wears a suit like Agent Smith.
God, this is a bad look. I'm not writing this all down. I just wrote down he, him, elf, mustache.
That's it. That's the
Just write
important
sucks
part.
next to it. and
Wow,
that's-
do elves in this world grow facial hair?
It's a fake one.
Oh,
Or
fuck.
Doritos.
It's just Dorito mustache.
Maybe he's a half elf, but he doesn't say that.
He tells everyone he's full elf.
Yeah, he tells everyone he's
Oh.
full elf.
Pure blood.
He has to shave his mustache every day, but it like always is a 5 o'clock shadow by the end of the day.
He's like, it's just dirt.
Try covered up with Doritos.
God.
That's where the clown
It's
thing
just
came
my
from.
Doritos stink.
Right. Sweet deal. So we kind of all decided that you were all in ring bearer.
Ringbriar.
Ring bearer?
Ring. Right. Okay. So, what has brought each of you to Ringbriar?
back to Ringfire, or
I never left.
yeah, is it? So this is the place where we were originally.
You might have been like on an outpost just outside of town, a little bit of
Okay.
ways.
I mean, I did write down since deciding that I live at the camp that I probably use it as a home base to go out and take care of restoring scorched earth sort of thing, where it's like battlegrounds that salted the earth essentially, going around and like tilling dirt. Maybe I eat dirt and test minerals in it, and I'm like, needs more iron. And well, it would,
Needs less iron.
yeah.
Needs less salt. This
God.
earth is too salted.
Yeah.
And then I just dirt.
Yeah, it's interesting because in like some other countries they have it's very common to have essentially like automated farm equipment that is just like, look, a floating hoe. I couldn't think of a better tool.
This is a cool brothel.
Oh my God.
And you said that.
Hi!
You said that, and then I thought of fucking Yoda in his floating chair.
With this floating hoe.
You fuck me, I fuck me.
God.
uh,
Now John's sick and he's dying. So
It's okay.
but yeah, like essentially like floating farm equipment, brooms, what have you. They're just like enchanted, essentially animated.
Fantasia.
Yeah, essentially like taking the animate armor spell or animate armor
Okay.
spell and just putting it on anything
Yes.
and animating it.
Perfect.
But that might not be available in this region, perhaps. It's not something that's as readily used.
I feel like, yeah, Priest probably just spends his days going out and fixing shit that people really didn't care enough to stay and fix.
Okay.
I'm sticking around town trying to fix things that people do care to fix so I can make money to go home.
So I don't. It's been 4 years, we said?
1
2
week.
years. 1 week.
It has been 2 years since the war has
You
ended.
really confused me for a second. I hate
So, 2 years
2
since you've been
years.
decommissioned.
it. Okay. What? This is gonna be maybe a shot in the dark. Are there any like, what's around there? Is there any
question.
reason that I would be back there on house business?
Oh, yeah, totally. Like, you may have just been sent there. You may have been sent to, like, track down, not necessarily a person, but maybe, like, a piece of equipment. Or you might have gotten a bounty called in, and
Yeah.
you're tracking this person, and their last known whereabouts were somewhere around here. Something along
Okay.
those lines.
Alright. That sounds about right. Yeah. That I have a bounty that I'm going after.
Or a target.
Target, yeah.
With the 2 years thing in mind, same question.
What was your question? Are you hunting someone?
No.
A
mean,
twist!
would there be
Hunting
reasons-
someone's
Would
self.
there be a potential reason that
Actualization.
the trust would have me out in that region?
Possibly. With that organization, they may. You may have thought you got an assignment, but you don't know exactly if you did get an assignment or what that assignment was. Like, you may have just run into a gnome at some point and they said something strange to you, and you're just like, got it. And so now you're trying to complete a task that you're not quite sure what it could be.
Sure.
That's an option.
You'll know it when you see it.
Yeah,
Okay.
like
That sounds about right.
That sounds very late 20s.
yeah. The gnomes are weird. Also,
The gnomes are weird.
the gnomes are weird.
That's my family.
But the gnomes from
That's my
Zalargo
dad.
are weird.
Yeah, they
Gnomes
are.
from elsewhere might not be. Just so you all know, with your races, your languages don't necessarily apply to your race in Eberron. It's more so where you were born and where you grew up. So like Orc is actually an exotic language,
Yeah.
but Goblin is the common language of the Orcs because you're so close
Okay.
to,
Goblin Town.
yeah, Goblin Town. I cannot see the name from here.
Dargogoon, these guys?
I think also in Droam.
Droam is really close to us.
Oh,
Yeah, Droam also has some, I believe.
I know Dargoon does for sure because they live in the Seawall Mountains, and there's a town that's mining and always fighting off goblin attacks.
Yeah, this region is full of gnolls, goblins, orcs.
Gnolls.
Yes.
Love a knoll.
Same.
Yeah.
Are those the dog boys?
Yeah.
Okay.
Big hyena boys.
So that's Droam. Is essentially monstrous mercenaries is kind of what they're known for, and then mining a certain type of ore.
The 3 M's.
Classic.
Dargoon is more so kind of like old ruins, and dungeons and things like that in that area. Ancient stuff.
Yeah.
Wow.
Terms.
Terms.
We're the stuff show, so we gotta throw it in every now and again.
Yeah.
That's true.
I'd like to thank our sponsor, Stuff.
I love stuff.
Do you want stuff? We got it.
Go get some.
I love it.
You will like it. So much.
It's got what you want.
Stuff. It's what you want.
Sometimes need.
True.
That's so wise, Becca.
And
Oh. Oh.
you were here. All right. Sweet deal. That is a whole bunch of stuff that will get us started. The next thing I'm gonna have y'all do is actually get a look at your character sheets.
Giggle, giggle, giggle.
You got something to share with the class?
Yeah.
This is how we communicated in the repair hangar. Memes.
Yeah, that's accurate.
This is what I laughed at earlier and then sent to you.
Jeans?
No,
Memes.
memes.
I thought you sent me jeans.
Hi, these are mom
Did
memes.
I?
Yeah, you sent me apple bottom jeans. Boots
Oh.
with the jeans. The whole club was looking at jeans. She hit the jeans. Next thing you jeans. Shorty got jeans, 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 jeans.
Yes, you did. I forgot about
That's
that
what you sent me. So you never sent me that. Just saying.
Okay, I'll send it to you. I forgot about jeans.
Looks like we've got a new sheriff in town.
She clears her throat.
We already told John about this artist, but there's an artist named Pants. I think that's their handle is just Pants. His name that he goes by is Mr. Joshua, and he makes really weird art. One of which is like a series of these weirdly drawn guys with like doing stuff like playing with his pet rats or putting clothes on them, and one of them is he got a new toilet. It's like a series of him dealing with this new toilet, and one of them is just him standing there, obviously pee-soaked pants, staring at the toilet and just goes, "Your move."
It's a pretty good. I like it.
Yeah, they're all very good. They're creepily drawn.
Perfect.
Oh God. Good.
It's the one of him ladling a bunch of stuff into a bowl for like a bunch of cats on the window that says "Big, Boy, Season."
That's my eternal state.
Big boy season.
That's what I made. That's what I made.
That's what you made, guys.
Oh my God.
The one where the waffles are popping out of the toaster and he's naked with a bat.
There's some very good art.
Oh my god, I'm not gonna go down that rabbit hole. I'll get very distracted.
Alright, so anyways, open up y'all's character sheets.
Shorty got jeans.
Shorty got jeans.
Did you see that it continues on to the pants next?
No, I didn't actually click on it. I just read the thumbnail.
My character sheet has already been open. I was prepared.
Yeah.
Mine is open as
Whoa.
well.
I'm proud of all of you.
If I hit with a punch, it deals 0 damage.
I heal
Hell
my-
yeah.
I heal you. I heal you.
It's just got a dash where the damage goes.
Yeah, my
God.
halfling is like that.
I have a big punch.
But of course, you are a human man, so it's not quite as. It's worse. Yeah. It's
I have big punch.
I have medium punch. And the bear.
What's your attack bonus to punching?
+1 because you're proficient in it.
You're proficient in punching?
Everyone.
You're
Yes.
proficient in being unarmed
Yeah,
because you're always unarmed.
that's true.
Oh, I read a book where somebody punched someone once. I have the basic concept.
That's called One Punch Man. You only needed to do it once.
That's just the whole philosophy that I'm gonna go with if I ever get into that situation.
I just need to punch him good one time.
All it takes is one.
I've never punched anyone. I'm not sure what would happen.
These delicate hands.
Alright, so looks like everyone already had most of their stuff in their character sheet. Good. Good work. But we're going to go to the equipment tab number 5. So I'm wondering if stupid pop-up. Can we just get like pop-ups? You
Do
know,
I ever just get pop-ups?
you know, like your computer just has a lot of pop-ups.
I just, use
Makes a lot of
pop-up
noise.
ad blockers.
No,
2 of them.
no, I accidentally hovered over like the media drop down and then I
Oh.
clicked. Yeah.
So your computer functioned as normal.
User error? I think not.
User error? I don't know her.
I went to tab 5. Now
Okay.
what?
Good. So what I'm actually going to have you all do is clear out any gold that you might have. So click on currency instead of manage.
My money.
Yep, clear it all out. Because we are
Poor.
we're going to say that you all got roughly the same stipend for your military service at the end when they decommissioned everyone. And that's going to be around, say about 180 gold.
Huzzah! That's what I had initially.
120.
No, it's
Didn't roll.
because you took starting items instead,
Yeah.
so I had
And
to
then you
delete it.
deleted them.
So yeah, so y'all got about
Took away my
100,
stuff.
180 gold.
With your money.
I'm pretty sure.
I'm rich!
I'm pretty sure that I didn't. Or if I did, I didn't take it.
Okay, so you have no money.
Yeah.
Perception check.
So what we'll do for your starting gear then will be a little bit different, and we'll come back to that.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna do some scavenge rolls then. to see what you
I
obtained.
mean, there's stuff that I was built with.
There was
too.
stuff that you were built with, and there was probably stuff left at the camp when
Mhm.
everyone left. But for you other two, so it's been 2 years since you received that sum of money.
So you probably spent some of it.
So yeah, the question is,
I got more too, though.
how much? How much was your like lifestyle that you have been living? Would you consider it like an expensive, extravagant lifestyle, something fairly moderate, or have you just been kind of like holding on to this gold and slumming by?
Due to the nature of me waiting around to hear my next thing, I probably would have been fairly conservative. He doesn't go around splashing cash very much, so it would be like modest lodgings, like just honestly just doing like a job, waiting around, going to a library if there is one.
Read this.
Sorry, type in. You ever just get so used to a certain keyboard?
But yeah, we're just getting used to a certain keyboard.
All right, so you said something modest.
Yeah, like medium or just below living conditions. Certainly not toughing it by any means.
Okay. So we'll say 5 silver pieces to 1 gold a day. Of course, you probably made money during this time. And what about you, Kath?
I think that she leads a pretty Spartan life. That's I don't imagine her house, even though they're super rich, I imagine them being like that kind of rich where like every penny matters and everything's very judicious and you like it's more about saving and investing than it is about like luxury in any sense. That said, I do think that they probably pay for all of her travel and you know they send her places. She gets reimbursed. She submits her receipts, basically. But when she's out doing stuff, I think that she kind of just the most important thing to spend money on would be like equipment, adequate equipment.
Okay.
But the rest of it is there's not a lot of room in her life for like fun stuff.
Okay. So probably about the same range.
Yeah, I would say that's fair.
All right. So what I'm going to have both of you do is I want you both to give me, break it down. So it's going to be a lot, but I'm going to need 8 D20 rolls.
Here, have some.
And this,
Here's some more. I think I'm good. Do you want to give a try? I can't believe you rolled a 20.
Right?
Actually, I might need one more.
John, did you have your numbers?
Yes.
All right, I will take them.
20,
Oh.
12, 14, 2, 9, 14, 11, 8. Stun.
What am I gonna do about that?
Reroll him.
Careful.
It wasn't that one. Fuck.
No. Have fun with what you just did.
It's bad. It's bad. It's bad over here.
It happens.
You don't know what the numbers mean.
True.
I have 2 2s, a 3, and a 4.
It'll be fine.
Um, okay, what did you get done?
2, 2, 3, 4,
Oh no.
That 4 is my die. You're welcome.
6, 8, 13, 13, 17.
Okay.
Apparently I got robbed.
Yeah, it happens.
By me.
Yeah. Jeez. Take your terrible crack dice.
There's your terrible crack. There's
Yep.
my terrible crack.
Alright.
Ah, shit, I had my Ira dice. I should have rolled that.
Dice.
I'm watching you. God, there's so many puns we
Alright.
make out of this thing. It's
Yeah.
great. We haven't been using Are You Ira nearly enough.
Yeah.
Gotta bring it on. Oh, why did I do that? I put all my dice away, Ryan, so don't ask me to roll again.
I got a nat 20, so I think I'm the mayor. I'm the mayor now.
If I got 2 2s, that's basically a nat 1, right?
Basically.
Yeah.
Alright.
Do you have balls in down here? Over there, right?
Yeah, we're on the bar. There'll be ones on top. There may also be one in the pen/dice thing over by
It's-
Ryan, but I cannot confirm that.
Ryan's busy ruining my life.
Well, yeah, I mean, but you ruined your own life with your own mistakes.
And only 6 of those, no, 3 of those were Kraken dice.
That was a lot of noise. It's fine. That's what it's how I feel. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. Boy, boy.
Woof, woof.
All right. So, for Eowyn, nail it.
Awen?
Eowyn,
A.
Eowyn,
Aowen.
Have you seen Lord of the Rings, Ryan?
Nah, I have, but it's been a long time. Eowyn,
Just trying to help you.
Aoe, Eowyn. Got
There
it.
you go.
Eowyn, due to just being able to have a lot of repairs to do right after the war, you were actually able to secure quite a lot of funds, and with your frugal living, you get to start with 200 gold
Sick. Oh my god.
in the last 2
He's gonna
years.
nerf me.
Yeah, Kath, you kind of struggled after the war. They didn't see you as a super experienced overall person, just because maybe the assignments that you had during the war just didn't match up with some of the other people within House Thrask. So they went ahead and you had to dip into your funds a little bit from the war.
Sure.
So you have 160 gold.
Alright. This could be worse.
Luckily, your frugal lifestyle and having some expenses covered by the house made that not as bad. Prius.
Yes.
For you, we are going to go ahead and see what you are able to scavenge.
Okay.
So I will have you also roll a lot of
How many?
D8.
Okay.
One for each quarter of the year.
Okay. 11, 10, 7, 12, 4, 16, 10, 18.
You have fiddle music?
Yeah,
Yep.
it's playing.
Okay.
No,
I
it's
thought
just
it
your
was
brain.
Kelly. I thought it was Kelly, honestly.
Okay. So, for you two, you should be able to see most equipment
Oh, we get to buy them.
under. So, if you're under equipment and you are on the manage tab, if you click on add items at the bottom, you should be able to search for different things. If you do just want like one of like the adventuring kits, I think. I can't remember what they're called.
Explorers.
No.
Packs.
Pack.
That's
The
what they-
engineer's pack.
Yep. So if you do want one of those, you are able to add it, but first click on it and check like the cost value, and
What if it
subtract.
doesn't have a cost value?
Which one doesn't have a cost value?
Armor of gleaming chainmail.
Armor of gleaming. So that's a
Special item. That's why it doesn't have it.
Yeah,
Okay,
and
gotcha.
so if you want to uncheck magical for now, as one of the
Okay.
checkbox selections,
Got you.
just make it a little bit easier.
Oh, it was unchecked. Hey, why do you hate me? I wasn't talking to you, Ryan.
Oh.
Oh.
For Prius, what you will do is you will get to select 8 items
Okay.
in total. You will just need to confer with me on
And I have to
what that
remove how
item
much I
might
spent.
be and why or how did you find it.
Okay.
So, whether that, like a pack though, is one item. It's just that
Yeah.
you found a leftover pack. So,
We're removing what we spent, right?
yes, you'll, so kind of keep track of that.
My
Yes, John.
primary weapon is boomerang, and boomerang has no cost.
I will make a cost for a boomerang.
That's fair.
It's cost
You can't give these things away.
200 gold.
Thank God we came to the boomerang building town. They can't get rid of these damn things. I just walked outside with a large trash
Clearance.
bucket after the boomerang festival and made out like a villain.
We'll just give it the same price as a hand axe, which is 5 gold pieces.
Okay, cool.
Actually, since it's something that returns to you.
If you miss, it returns, and if you hit, it stays.
Oh, okay. Well, then sure, we'll keep it at 5.
Cool.
That sounds fine.
Times 4 boomerang.
So. Yeah. Whoopies. So 5 gold pieces for if you buy more than 1 boomerang. It's obviously more money than you're spending.
Mm-hmm.
Keep in mind that we will continue to keep track of these costs of living.
Mm-hmm.
So as days do go by, your bank accounts will slowly drain. Based off of even just the city you're in may have just simply a different effect. So if you're in a more affluent area, despite you trying to live modestly, it might be 2 gold to do so. So, any idea for items for Prius?
Yes. I want armor and I want punchy gauntlets.
What armor are you thinking of?
Truly, I was anticipating it being armor that he was built with. Like, it's just part of him.
Mm-hmm. So, here's the cool thing about Warforged and them switching armor.
Mm-hmm.
It's literally like peeling off their own skin.
Yes, I saw that it was, it can't be taken off unless it's their own will.
Mhm.
Like, and that stuff. But, like, his armor is what he was constructed with. Like, I don't know what much would be under it besides, like, framework type, like, gears and things.
Yeah. I'm just looking through stuff real quick, and I will tell you
Okay.
in armor in just a second.
Can I have a
That
gun?
works.
Can I just have a gun? Ryan, can I have a gun?
No.
Damn it.
A gun is non-existent at this point.
But I'm proficient in firearms.
But it
You're-
says
you're-
revolver. It says I can buy it right now.
It is. So the idea of a weapon like that for you, John, is a bit different. It's the idea of essentially making a wand or something along that line.
Yeah, they have like just like a handle on them, and they fire the magic out for you.
Yeah, exactly. There's not bullets per se. Yeah, so let's say you have chainmail as your armor.
Okay. I'm cool with that being what I have, but it doesn't look like actual chainmail.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. It just has those stats.
Yes, that's fine.
Yes.
And then I want punchy gauntlets that are kind of like he got big arms, punchy arms, and like when he would be on a battlefield, he would need to protect people, but he didn't have like a sword or a mace or anything. He would just like he's not really built to attack, it's to protect, and so it would be like Like if this person is near me and I need to punch them.
I have a camel,
Okay.
Ryan.
I
It
mean,
costs 50 gold. I can afford it.
yeah, if you really wanted to have a camel, that's fine.
It's
Um,
really tempting.
so I think a good option then would just be have a basic shield as well. Like kind of say that's like one of the things that you'd always have in like one of your gauntleted hands is just to like slam down, kind of like a tower shield in front of them.
I was considering, I have in my description, like one of the things I said as a potential is a shield built into both of the forearms as as like a set of extendable panels that you use them together, sort of thing.
Okay.
And then also they're available to be punchy arms.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like a wedge that comes out of each arm, but that can be adjusted so it can either be treated as a shield or to be like a shield for who it's protecting, sort of thing. I don't know. That was just something I said.
Okay. I'm still trying to think about the items that were available and just kind of like an overall cost on this.
Oh shit, I just accidentally added an elephant.
It had.
Sorry.
I'll have it. Remove. So I think having the shield part would be no problem. I don't think it's necessarily integrated at this point. That I think you were just like trained with shields because like the shields themselves may get destroyed or damaged in some way, and it's easier on the battlefield just to grab the down person's shield and pick it up.
Okay, I added a shield to my inventory.
So shield would have been an easy thing. And then I think for right now, we'll just stick with you just doing the base punching damage that it says that you do, which is plus your strength mod. And
Right now it says I do 4 points of damage.
Yep, what's your strength modifier?
+3.
Yeah, that makes sense. 1 plus strength mod. So we'll just keep that for now, just since your Warforge wasn't necessarily built for fighting anyways. It was more so about defensive qualities. And so if that's something that like is an upgrade that you might want later, there's always like the Tavern Brawler feat. Or perhaps your artificer is able to craft some type of object in their downtime.
These I can do.
I was imagining something like brass knuckles.
Yes.
But like built onto my body.
Yes.
Yes.
It could just simply be like, at this point, like some chains that you have like found that you've kind of like integrated into your own armor in some way. But beyond that, I don't think combat-wise, I don't think it's going to change anything like stat-wise. We'll just have it the way it is for now. Any other items that you think you may have just found while you were...
I may look for farming things.
Do you want to know what we bought? Just broad stroke. What we have remaining.
Sure.
I bought Tinker's Tools, 4 boomerangs, studded leather armor, and a scholar's pack. I have 50 gold remaining.
Cool.
Boomerang.
music.
Is it Spanish guitar?
It's whatever
This
you
town
want it
is
to
a
be,
very-
baby.
This town has a very diverse musical selection.
Little bag of sand.
So this is a funny item, and I don't think there would be any need for you to have it, but there's something that is literally just called saddle, military.
Oh my
Someone just left their saddle behind. Now you have a saddle.
Can you get that and then give it to me because I'm about to buy a horse?
No. You can find it in the camp.
Ugh.
I would see that and be like, I never would need this and leave it where it is.
Oh, that makes one of us.
The items I'm adding are great.
Do you need armor and clothes?
Usually.
Yeah, like you would wear one under the other.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, does your Warforged wear clothes?
No.
No.
No. Does he have genitalia?
No.
No.
Just wondering.
Unless they were designed for it.
Just
No, they weren't assigned genders at creation.
That
They
doesn't
picked
mean they
pronouns.
Don't have genitalia.
They're like
They're unrelated.
mostly mass produced. There's a few specialty
Weird sex
Warforged up.
Warforged?
Yeah, possibly.
Yeah. That's what I need to know about Ryan. I'm bad at math.
So Becca, for your brass knuckle things that you have right now, if you want to just add a club, and then we'll just have the 1d4 damage for it.
Okay.
And that'll just be like the marker for the brass knuckles, because I just don't want to build one out right now.
Ryan, you're not gonna be proud of me. I have
No gold left.
I have 5.5 gold.
Well, I mean, you're a teenager who spends their money.
She saw a horse and she was like, I need that right now.
Didn't know I was a horse girl.
Yeah, she's a horse girl and that's her truth. And she's living it. Now she's living it. Also, I could have gotten a cheaper horse, but she wanted the fast horse. So that was really important. Whatever, she'll be fine.
So I was just thinking about something.
You're thinking about how you're gonna figure out that I have a horse in this campaign?
No, that's fine that you have a horse. You're horsing around.
Yep.
You have to take care of it. It's your responsibility now.
Walk it and feed it every day.
What I was thinking about was, so where you're all starting off in this campaign, it's like you do have this history, but like you're still figuring out a lot about life and whatnot. But the biggest thing is that, as you level, since low-level magic is fairly common throughout the world, it will simply just be a part of everyday society, and you doing low-level magic won't be particularly amazing to anyone. That being said, once you go to a certain level, it ends up being a lot more interesting. Like, the jump is very big. Like, holy crap, you did that thing. That's not a thing most people can do. So if there's fun things story-wise that you're like, hey, I think it'd be really cool if my character, this happened to them, or this experience was going to occur, just let me know, and we can gladly work that stuff into the story.
I have 8 items. And they are a bucket, chainmail, a club, an iron pot, rope, a sack, a shield, and a shovel.
Sounds great.
Bucket.
That's
Bucket.
it. Your favorite item.
My bucket!
Just a plain pair
Bucket
of
or
boots.
helmet?
I don't know. They're part of the
Bucket.
clothing set.
There's so well it says in closed comment cloth wraps are used for shoes.
Yeah, but
How much would it be for me to buy like
what type of armor do you have?
leather?
You probably have leather boots with that armor.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh
You're
my
fine.
god.
Alright.
My iron
Just
pot
wanted to be sure I wasn't
weighs
barefoot.
so much more than my bucket.
After John's story about his mom's toes, I'm gonna be running. a
I
horse
only
barefoot.
save things I can carry shit around with or dig shit up with.
It's fair. I got a horse, so
I have an iron pot.
I have 4 boomerangs.
It can hold 1 gallon of liquid.
This is very exciting. This bucket of holding.
No,
How
that's
is it magically?
That's just the pot. The bucket can hold 3 gallons of liquid. Or a half cubic foot of solid material.
I'm just imagining you're walking around with like buckets and pots hanging off of you.
Well, they're in my,
clang,
they're in my
clang.
sack.
It's like a clanging mess, though, because it clangs against you too.
The sack can hold 30 pounds of gear.
Half of that is your.
mad.
Half of-
That's my iron pot.
Yeah.
Actually, a third of it is my rope. The rope weighs as much as the iron pot.
You got a lot of rope.
Rope's good. It's heavy.
Yeah.
My backpack weighs as much as my book.
You probably just wrap that rope around your body.
Mm-hmm. It's 50 feet of rope. Hempen.
Smoke
I
it.
did not take silk rope. I
So-
do have a shovel too, just in case.
Never know.
Shovels are really useful if you don't have the cantrip move earth. You know.
I
just-
have the cantrip, big muscles made of wood and metal.
Oh my god. So one of my favorite like dumb character tropes is just like, I'm a fighter, but I think I'm magic. I cast punch.
Yes.
Or move earth and you dig with a shovel.
Yes.
Or when Fenric cast Philale.
Yes. Yes.
That was really good.
Bucket. The bucket is very important.
I'm gonna call your character Bucket now, accidentally.
Okay.
Yeah, a lot of the times Warforged adopt names later on as they're figuring themselves out, and they base it on usually some type of quality that they like. So like
Bucket.
if you ran into a Warforged and his name was Pants and he just wore pants and that was his thing.
Love me as I am.
Hey, Pants is the name. Pantson's the game. Just kidding, I didn't steal these from anyone. What's up?
Believable.
So, we're just gonna wrap it up essentially here. For next time, what I kind of need to know is what is something that you all would like in terms of the adventure, kind of moving forward, of just things that you're interested. Are you more interested in intrigue or just good old fashioned, let's go kill some gerblins?
I'm interested in ending capitalism.
Okay, well that's an end result.
We would like to
Poli-
destroy the political system in this world.
Political intrigue. Okay,
Yeah.
that's good.
Well, more like political rebellion.
Revolution.
Revolution. Self-discovery. We all have some identity problems.
Yes,
like
maybe therapy.
therapy. So Ryan, what if you just took all of our characters to therapy?
The funny thing is, I was telling John earlier, I was like, this is going to be a very therapeutic D&D world, where if there is a topic that you would like to go and roleplay in, we can do that.
We
Okay.
can go to work through that.
I
We
love
can work-
being big robot.
If you want to work through some weird thing about like, capitalism or the politics.
Becca has no other issues to work through. It's true.
Other
That-
than capitalism?
Yeah, I know her.
That
It's
is
true.
I mean, most of them stem from work and having to have
fair.
money.
That's fair.
Most of my stress right now is related to that.
So with that being said, what do we not ever want to roleplay or have in the story?
I don't need coming out stories. I did one. It's mine.
Okay, so if you're planning that, no.
I know. Damn it,
His big plan.
Sir Deborah.
Sir Deborah was gonna come out. No.
I
I
guess
would
he's-
take an exception.
No,
personally.
no, Sir Deborah's staying a cis white male. No.
Oh my god! But hetero? No.
My objective is now kill Sir Deborah.
Oh
Free him from his prison.
no! I don't have any like.
Personally, like, I will not ever like role play sexual violence
Yup.
in any
Yeah.
way. That's
Oh,
just,
yeah,
like, I
for
feel like that's
sure.
an obvious one.
Something that I guess I don't want to see, like, personally, I don't, like, love the aspect of it a whole lot. I know it's an integral part of the game in some parts, but, like, travel, like, things just
I
like
just bought a horse, John. Come
and
on.
they can come, absolutely. Just like
so the horse is now just going to be our fourth party member.
Yeah.
So luckily,
this is horse.
there's a fair amount of like expedited travel built into
Fast
Eberron,
travel.
and there will be times when we will do exciting things with that, and there will be some times when we will just fast forward.
Yeah.
We can essentially just make travel.
Certainly,
That's
certainly, you know, like do watches during the night at some point. It's just like if there's like a 5-day travel and that's all we're doing, like to get from point A to point B,
Right.
and we like role play every single night to make
Yeah.
watches. It kills me inside slowly, and I know I've done it to you guys, and it kills me when I'm doing so.
Becca's face right now.
It's fine. It's fine.
I really liked inventory building.
I hated doing
I know
it. I was
that's
just like,
on the first question, but it was really fun.
Inventory building. Yeah, I
Yeah.
wanted some more customization with your starting items.
Yeah, no, that was really cool. I liked it.
So
I don't know how it's gonna go.
I have a bucket. It'll be fine.
it'll be fine.
I have a horse and some arrows.
we can put the boomerangs on the horse's feet and put that bucket on their head, and then they're a fourth party member.
Why would you need to do that to make them a horse?
No, it's okay.
Because they
Now we
punch
could-
and then boomerangs.
We could put the bucket on the horse, and then we could just like saddlebags.
I don't know. I don't know if I would trust you to have my bucket. I would trust your horse to have my bucket. but
Thank
not
you.
you.
My horse is very trustworthy.
Yes. Oh, I will love your horse. I don't know about you.
Listen, if you love my horse, you love me. That's how it is. You don't. That's how it is. It's like dogs.
I don't know, man.
Mm-hmm.
There's some people who I would just take their dog.
Leave Kath alone. She's 19 and she just learned how to read. Just learned how to read.
She didn't know how to read.
She didn't know how to read and she just learned.
Well,
So anything
with
else?
life gives you lemons.
No lemons.
Whoa!
Scurvy.
We must all get scurvy. Did you guys know that
I
nostalgia
can't.
is a symptom of scurvy? I don't want to talk about this.
You were the
remember-
one who brought up scurvy.
I remember-
realized I had just started
Do you
talking
remember-
about scurvy casually.
Remember how in the Terror 2018?
Oh my God, she's
they
got
all got
scurvy.
scurvy.
She's remembering things from her past.
Remember how they get scurvy and then they get lead poisoning?
Well, they get them at the same time, reasonably
Oh, wow.
speaking. Yeah, it's all really bad. No, their gums turn black.
So,
Love it. Favorite show. Best of
So-
2018.
what do you want? In
Airship.
Airship.
Okay, we
Sky
we
demon.
don't want
Land
travel.
vehicles.
Horse on airship.
So we don't want travel, but we want the
Cool
opportunity.
travel.
We want the
I want-
opportunity.
I want to go to
travel.
Sharn.
I want cool shit.
Sharn at some point.
Investigating like mysterious magical items and their origins would be a fun.
There must be
Right.
a way to ship a horse on an airship. They probably
Oh
have
yeah,
different
for
Bigger
sure.
horse. Next question.
Yes, there is for sure.
I need to make some money, like ASAP. Because I'm spending all on a horse.
You know, they say the best 2 days of your life are the day you buy
Buy
a horse and
the day you sell a
it.
horse. Yep. Remember when Kelly told me that we have this saying in Wisconsin? She said the day that you buy a boat and the day that you sell a boat. And I was like, Kelly, that's a saying everywhere.
It's not Wisconsin specific.
Oh, Kelly. Remember when?
Her
Remember
idioms
when?
are so broken.
Remember when on the way to the movie she said, "Oh look, a bulldozer," and we all were like,
Mm,
and
it's
she
not a
goes,
bulldozer.
"That's not a bulldozer," and all of us were like, "No."
No.
What was it?
It was a front end loader.
Yeah.
What's a front end loader?
It's the pushy in the
Scoopy.
front and the scoopy on the back.
Oh, I would have called it a bulldozer too. She's fine.
No, but all of us at the same time in the same tone
Yeah.
of voice.
Yeah,
We all were like, and then no.
The right genus.
What else do I want?
Was that good?
I got airship Sharn magic items.
Big trees? I feel like I asked for that in our
Oh,
very
yeah.
first campaign too.
I would love to go to the forest.
I like big trees.
We don't want to travel, but here are all the places we do want to go.
If you could come up with a big sprawling cityscape with a giant forest in the middle.
Actually, that sounds amazing.
Yeah.
It's San Francisco, right?
But intrigue mystery
Kinda.
as well.
Okay.
Ooh.
Solid
I like a
mysteries.
mystery. I love a murder mystery. That's really specific, but it doesn't have to be a murder
The
mystery.
horse did it.
Becca hates
His
that.
hoof prints are all over the scene of the crime.
Yes,
Maybe
but
not
why
a
is
murder mystery.
the boomerang bloodied? How can a horse throw a boomerang with hooves?
Dun, dun, dun.
Someone tied it to their feet. All right. That all sounds good.
Is this spirit?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, sure. That's about how I feel when Becca talks about her songs.
Anticipation
Spirit?
and excitement.
Spirit. She loves Spirit.
By
Stallion of the
Thomas
Cimarron.
Bergeron.
Hans
Oh,
Zimmer.
by Thomas Bergerson?
Yeah.
It's from The American Dream.
Yeah, that's the one. It's from the American Dream. Yo ho ho.
Bottle of rum.
Anyways, that was things and stuff. Thanks for stuffing around with our
The
things.
Thing Show.
Don't know about that.
Yeah, we're working on sign-offs here.
We've got so many things here at the Thing
Yeah,
Show
and lots
that
of them
we
are-
have.
They might be good or
And
not.
they might be good, and they might be bad.
They
and
might be
are
feelings
definitely
about-
things,
Capitalism.
and they might have feelings.
Oh,
you
by
don't
the way,
know.
we've got a Patreon link now.
Things.
All right. Anyways,
DCMA copyright. Take
all right.
down.
Bye.